In front of our newsroom camera, political editor Vuyo Mvoko. Vuyo, good afternoon to you. We always knew we were going to be in for the long haul, but this is kind of the confirmation that we were all expecting.
Indeed. I mean, if you consider what has been said about this pandemic, how it has to be managed, and of course the forecasts around the impact it's going to have on the economy, it was abundantly clear right from the beginning that we were going to be in it for the long haul, and today was indeed a confirmation of that. But one must say that we did expect a bit more than the ministers were able to give at that briefing, because if you listened to what they had to say, they were quite chuffed about the things that they have done, the progress that they were updating on. But the minute journalists started asking questions, it became abundantly clear that there are still quite a lot of problems in the system.
Absolutely. So still more details expected on this. Let's pick up on the issue of small businesses, talking about spaza shops getting funding to the tune of 3,000 Rand.
3,500 Rand is what they are going to get or entitled to. But of course, the minister also saying that if the person wants the whole sort of 3-month relief thing, that remains a possibility. They can apply and actually receive that. But you also heard that there were problems with regard to restaurants and other categories of small businesses. And among the problems is, of course, that challenge that has been mounted by your solidarities, who are questioning the criteria that is currently being used. But of course, the cluster also saying that they are expecting a ruling by the end of this week. They haven't been able to disburse the amount they currently have, pending, of course, the outcome of that judgment. Hopefully, it's going to come sooner rather than later. But there are problems elsewhere. I mean, let's take, employment and labor. Minister Nxesi was quite chuffed that they have increased the number of call center personnel, which means that they're able to process a lot more applications than has been the case before. But as soon as questions started coming through, again, it became clear there that there are quite a number of problems. Still, you have employers who have received relief money, but they haven't passed it on to their employees. We also heard, of course, that there was confusion around, the actual number. In other words, how much of workers' wages can or is government actually able to, is the UIF able to pay out, and for how long? And the ministers making it clear that we're talking about 38% of workers' wages, and they have budgeted for only 3 months. Now, the next question then is going to be, where is the rest of the money going to come from, given what you said, Jeremy, that we are indeed in it for the long haul?
Which segues perfectly into the next question. We heard from the Treasury Director General at the weekend talking to Karima Brown, saying that I think either later this week or early next week, official conversation will start with the International Monetary Fund about those funds that we are entitled to apply for because of our membership. But that, if I heard him correctly, means that it could take 6 weeks to 2 months to actually unlock that money.
Indeed, because as much as your IMFs have already said that there is indeed money available, and as you correctly said, the government also saying we're entitled to some of it. But of course, when you look at the amounts, we're talking about much smaller amounts than we actually need, which then begs the question, where is the rest of the money, or a big chunk of the money going to come from, and that's where there has been talk, of course, of other banks like the BRICS Bank or the new Development Bank, but of course also other financial institutions. They have spoken also about a reprioritization of the current budget. So no exact numbers at this stage, which I must say was a bit of a disappointment last week, both from the Minister of Finance and subsequently other ministers who spoke on this issue, because you would have thought that if someone came to a number of, let's say, 130 around a billion, around reprioritization, you would have thought that someone would know where 50 of that money would come from, 20 of that money would come from. So it was a disappointment, but they were confident, and they assured us last week that they have they have it all under control, and they are busy now crunching the numbers, just as we have heard just now that the process that was started last week of taking us to level 4, some people were expecting some clarity on certain things today. We didn't get any of that because, again, as the Minister Mamuloko Kupai is saying, and Minister Tembu, both of them saying there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. Until that is done, they are not able to try to take us through progress and the numbers just yet.
As they crunch the numbers, a number of freelancers wondering whether they will be considered. And Dadutula Singlesi is saying that perhaps after this there needs to be a debate on what needs to be done on the issue of freelancers who are not getting any financial relief.
Yes, but the troubling thing about that, it was posed as a possibility to do. In other words, it didn't give any indication that these are conversations currently taking place within and among members of both Cabinet and the Central Command Council. In the same way that a question that was posed to the acting Communications Minister, Jackson Mthembu, around, for example, whether they are in conversations with your multi-choices around relief for people who may be under stress. At the moment, there too, you didn't get a definitive answer, meaning that those conversations are probably not taking place at all within Cabinet and the Central Command Council at this stage.
Right, that's our political editor, Vuyo Mvoko, updating us on that economic cluster briefing that finished in Pretoria just a short time ago.